What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fitness Realty channel. My name is TJ McLelland and I'm the broker. I'm super excited to share all the things we have planned with you. So sit back, strap in, and let's have some fun. All right, I'm excited to share this with you guys. We have something special to me. It's going to be kind of a lessons learned. I know I've learned a ton of lessons over the past long while. I'm not going to say how old I am, 38. Just kidding. Anyway, I have learned a lot of lessons in the past. This won't be all the lessons, of course, because that would just take too long. Plus, my dad's not here to reiterate the lessons that I learned the hard way. Anyway, the lessons that I want to share here are just a few that really stand out to me. They are a couple of things, or they're things that actually moved some of my career, or it really shifted my mentality or shifted my mindset about doing something different and being different in the things that I do in life. So the first one that I want to talk about, and typically I have somebody that I learned the lesson from, and so I like to share who it was first. The first lesson that I learned, I kind of learned it recently. I went to a seminar that was taught by one of the high producer real estate agents in the Valley or across Utah. I mean, he does deals pretty much all over the place. And so the lesson that I learned here was to take action. I put it in quotes on my little notes on the right-hand side of the screen. So if I kind of keep looking over there, it's just looking at the quotes. But the take action really is something that is huge. So they're closing thousands of deals a year, and which is insane. To me, that takes a really robust team and processes that can't be broken by volume, because that volume is huge. One of the things that this person talked about was taking action. They said, taking action is the step to become and do what you want, because without action, it's just a thought. And maybe it's not even a thought at that point because you just don't know what you want. And so taking action is huge. He was talking about taking action and failing often and failing forward, right? Like doing something that fails, but learning and growing from it, which can be super, super powerful. So taking action is huge. It really is something that can change your life and make you a better person and become a stronger person. Something that we encourage on our team is to become the strongest version of yourself, but that doesn't come with sitting back or sitting on the couch or not taking your life seriously or not taking any action. So I can give you a ton of thoughts to become the strongest version of yourself, but if you don't take action or internalize that, it goes nowhere. And so I really love the idea of taking action. I have been an action taker in my personal life and in my business life. However, I didn't realize that I had already internalized taking action. And now when somebody said it out loud, it really just resonated with me. Okay, let's move to the next one. The next one, I learned it from my mom. I think on episode 3, when I was chatting with my mom, you probably heard her talk about that in that video. But the life lesson that I've learned from my mom over and over again, countless times, is timing is everything, and everything happens for a reason. Namely, during that episode, we were talking about how I was offered the opportunity to come back home and leave active duty military to grow this business and start Fitness Realty. However, in my experience, the timing is everything and everything happens for a reason has happened over and over again. I can't tell you how many times during a deal, there would be a time where it was like, ooh, that's really going to hurt this deal. And then lo and behold, something happens where we're like, oh, we had to cancel that deal because this just wasn't the house. The timing was wrong, or the client's way to get the home was blocked. And so the timing is everything is super powerful. My mom can tell you a lot of stories about timing is everything in her personal life, but it just stands out and goes to reason that things happen for a reason, and sometimes you might not always know what that reason is. However, if you look at it long enough, you may discover that reason, and maybe you can have or see the light on that or see the potential out of that. So anyway, I'm super excited and happy for my mom teaching me that. She says it all the time and helps tell us the stories behind that and really kind of points it out in our own lives and really shows us how that can be a powerful tool and a discovery to learn where your life is going. Okay, let's shift topics again. This one is going to be the supervisor that I talked about in the founder story, or how we got started. This supervisor is the one who brought me in to the office and told me that I had a personality for real estate and a face for radio. Yeah, just kidding. He didn't say that last part. Anyway, his name is Rob Wood. We always talked about Wood. Well, Rob, we never called him that. We always called him Wood because it was active duty military. You're pretty much just your last name. Unless your last name is hard to say, then you get a weird nickname or whatever, or sometimes a cool nickname. Side note, my nickname in active duty military or as a military right now is TJ. Most people cannot say my last name, and most people just don't use it. So I've always been my first name in the military, which is just kind of funny. Anyway, the military will give you kind of a weird nickname sometimes. One of my buddies' nicknames is 09 because his last name starts with a O and has 9 letters in it. That is probably the best nickname that I've ever seen somebody get. So 09, if you're listening, shout out to you, my good brother. One day I'll have him on. He is launching a new business, so without trying to sidetrack too much, I apologize, but he is growing something, and I hope to have him on board one day and interviewing him with our podcast. Okay. Anyway, Rob Wood taught a very simple principle. He was a great leader and a great person and really started to sell a lot of real estate. And so he left active duty military. He would have been a phenomenal supervisor, gaining rank and teaching young airmen how to be, how to do better and things like that. But the thing he always talked about is you need to own failure and share success. So I have 2 instances that I kind of want to talk about. One is showing our failure side. As a dock chief, as Rob Wood was a dock chief, he was in charge of getting everybody to get the maintenance tasks going for the inspection job we had on the aircraft. And so sometimes we would get behind because in maintenance, you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you might have it where the parts don't show up, so then you're behind. Sometimes the parts fail and they just literally shell out right when you're doing an engine run or something like that. So sometimes you just can't foresee those things. And Rob was always good about getting us on track and getting us to finish line, and typically ahead of schedule, which was really awesome. One case in particular, though, we were not doing good. The parts were behind. We had a lot of part failures, stuff like that. There was a couple of people that had called in sick or whatever was going on with medical. And so we were just kind of behind. And he literally took it upon himself to say, hey, we're behind. And it was him that was failing us. And by his leadership, he was going to get us back on course and straighten out the entire path. And we pushed so many jets with Rob at the helm and got those out of the inspection section and back to the flight line so that the pilots could fly those jets. So he was incredible about that. But I always remember him internalizing the failure and saying, hey, this was the stopping point. And he would own that, and we would learn, and we would grow, and we would move on. Now, the part that I loved about him sharing his success with us happened every time that he closed a deal, which was quite frequently. I mean, it looked like he was just crushing it, which now looking back, he literally was crushing it in real estate. I just didn't know it because I really didn't understand real estate and what that looked like and how the sales work. Anyway, he would close a deal and he would come into us and say, hey, we're going to shut down the dock for a few hours and we're going to go to lunch and we're going to get pizza. And we'd go to Pizza Hut, I think it was Pizza Hut. Wherever you could actually go and eat inside of it, which in North Carolina, it was maybe an older pizza place before. This is like pre-COVID and everything, before it was like takeout only. Anyway, he would take us all out to lunch and buy pizza for everybody and really share that success with us. And we felt so appreciated. We loved it. We hung out. We got together as a group. We would just enjoy each other's company. We would just smoke down a ton of pizzas, which was probably bad because then we'd go back to the base and try to do work and we were all lazy and just wanted to lay down. So that was bad. Anyway, he would always take us out and share that success. So I really have tried to internalize that. When there is a failure with our company, I try to make the stopping point me and really point it out that, okay, I need to change. I need to do something to put in something or put something in place to stop that from happening. So I really try to make sure that I own those failures. And then on the flip side of that, I really try to share the success that we have as a team because this team effort is all coming from everyone around me, from our staff, from our supportive clients. It's not me doing it. So I love sharing the success. We are growing like crazy, and it is because of everyone that's around me that is growing the company. So I really try to internalize that. And I got those principles from Rob. So I want to say thank you to him. It's awesome. Thank you, man. Let's see. I got one more really quick, and I know that I'm bad with sayings, but this one is to accept the things that you cannot change. I know there's something in the Bible that has extra words to that, or like have the knowledge. Well, let's see. Accept the things you cannot change and change the things that you can't accept, and have the knowledge or the wisdom to know the difference between that. Something like that, whatever. Anyway, what I like to try to internalize there, and I didn't really learn this from a particular person or a particular instance, but I have always been a person that is able to look at the outside and what is happening and really say, okay, what are the things that we can control, or what are the things that I can control, and what are the things that I can change? Because if it's something out there, let's say the sun's rising and setting. Well, there's nothing I can change with that. So that's really big. And I know that's a crazy example, but seriously, the things outside of your control are a lot. And if you spend too much time worrying about those, you can literally waste a lifetime just being in turmoil. So I really try to internalize accepting the things that I can't change, because I do have a lot of influence with people, and I do have a lot of influence with our processes, but literally there's so many moving parts that I cannot control everything. So I am excited to share that with you guys. I love being able to kind of take a philosophical way to look at that and look at the outside and really try to internalize that. So anyway, while wrapping up on those items and lessons learned, I just really want to say thank you to the top performer that taught me about taking action. I want to say thank you to my sweet, sweet mother for teaching us timing is everything and everything happens for a reason. And then I'll always do a big shout out for Rob Wood for getting me into real estate for the first thing, and also sharing with us and our team at that time to own failure and share success as a leader. And then lastly, I'm just going to credit this to the Bible, or just living every day to try to accept the things that I cannot change. So I love you guys. I love having this discussion with you guys. Hopefully you've learned something from these lessons that I've learned. I can't wait to share with you more lessons that I've learned, because I have very specific ones about real estate where maybe the transaction was going ugly, and we'll have some forks in the road for that and some discussion. So, all right, we'll see you guys later. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for supporting us. We'll see you next time, and we love you. Later.